What's the biggest issue right now when you look at Philly?
To me, it's consistency and those little details, doing the little things right. And I went back as I was watching this press conference, our Super Bowl year in Indianapolis. We were 10-1. We had a downturn. We lost the game. We got blown out in Jacksonville. And I remember coming in the locker room and saying, we aren't changing anything. We're getting back to doing what we are supposed to do. And I think that's what the Eagles need to do.
Look at the Eagles, though, Coach. They're not playing with that sense of fire. They're not playing with that intensity that you expect a team to come out. You talk about what's wrong, 3 turnovers, 10 penalties. That's what's wrong. It's coaching. It's coaching. And I said it before. Offensively, they need to do a better job of committing to the run and get the quick passing game going. Defensively, they need to make sure that those guys are playing more disciplined football. They're not just peeking inside, giving up the edge, missing tackles. It's a lot that's wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles.
When Blankenship got hurt early on in this game, too, you got to imagine that had a pretty big impact defensively on some of that communication there in the back end.
Yeah, you lose your key guys, it's tough. But I think Rodney makes a great point. The discipline, okay? How do you get 10 penalties? How do you turn the ball over 3 times? By not doing the just detailed work that you're supposed to do day in and day out.
And just think about it. Like, when I'm playing in an NFL game, I have an opportunity to play on Sunday Night Football. I'm coming out with a sense of urgency. I'm excited. You didn't see that with the Philadelphia Eagles. You just didn't see it. They were kind of just like lethargic, just in the game. And I'm like, why don't they bring more energy, more enthusiasm?
You could almost feel a little bit of that when we were watching them warm up. I thought it was sort of a quiet confidence and a calm, but it just didn't feel like a very energized team when we were with them.
It was called doubt. That's what it was called.
Doubt.
When you doubt your team and some of the things that you're doing, you look on the other side and you don't have that full enthusiasm.
You know, we were in Philadelphia a few weeks ago, and they played against Miami, and they played Eagles football, and they shut Miami down, and they moved the ball, and they looked physical. They've got to get back to that.
Coach, when we walked out here, and I got a chance to see that offensive line again, and I said, this is the second biggest offensive line that I've ever seen. Detroit is number 1.
I'm with you.
They're all 6'5", 6'6", 6'4", 315 pounds, and that's what drives me crazy about their inability to be able to run the football. Once again, I'm taking it back to the tush push. If you can tush push 3 yards, you should be able to line up and make 5 yards.
Yeah, and when they start running the ball, you can just see Jason Kelce light up and start coming to life, and that energy starts just believing they're moving.
It feeds the offensive line, it feeds the wide receivers, the sideline, the defense. It affects everybody, Coach.
And my only problem, I don't know how you get that back now with the way the practice schedules are in the NFL, and you have to have walkthroughs and all this now, because if I was coaching now, we would be having some physical practices, and we'd be getting back to saying, hey, here's how we're going to do things. We'd be tackling in practice. You can't do that now.
But even if you can't tackle in practice or even have that physicality, you still have to bring it to the game. It's a mindset. You still have to bring that tough mindset to the game, because if you're not practicing it, how's it going to be successful?